Okay, so have you ever seen a photo of a celebrity and you're like, wait, are they taller than I remember?
Happens all the time, right?
Yeah, you think you have a good grasp on these things,
Right.
and then bam, there they are looking like they grew a few inches.
Yeah, I've definitely had that thought scrolling through, those online photos and stuff.
Exactly. It's like, is it the shoes, the angle, or
Maybe, just maybe,
yeah.
it's something a little more calculated.
Okay, so get this. Today's deep dive is taking us into this whole world of, well, discrete height enhancement. We're talking about Masaltos.com, this Spanish company that has kind of quietly become this global giant in, making people look a bit taller.
A bit taller, yeah.
Yeah,
And they've got a fascinating story, all starting with a bit of an accidental marketing miracle.
right. We're working with excerpts from a 2013 article from Expansion, which is a Spanish business publication.
Okay.
And it was originally on the Masaltos.com blog. But anyway, the whole thing is full of surprises. But yeah, to your point, it all kind of blew up because of some well-placed photos.
Yeah, like those photos we were talking about, Nicolas Sarkozy and Tom Cruise,
Huh?
both looking, shall we say, a tad taller than usual in some photos that hit the internet. People were buzzing.
No way. I missed that back in the day.
Oh, it was huge. And it totally unintentionally thrust Masaltos.com into the spotlight. Not a planned marketing campaign at all, but
Wow.
talk about impact. Talk about a happy accident. This is why the business world is so unpredictable. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
It's true. Sometimes the stars just align. And for Masaltos.com, well, that luck translated into some serious cash. In 2013 alone, and this is just from this one article, mind you, they sold over 13,000 pairs of shoes.
That's a lot of shoes.
Right. But here's the real kicker. For the first time ever, their sales outside of Spain were bigger than their sales in Spain.
The global market for a little boost.
It's global, and you have to hand it to the founder of Masaltos.com, Andres Ferreras. The guy was ahead of the game.
No kidding. He was way ahead of the game.
He saw the potential of e-commerce, way back in '94. I mean, that's ancient history in internet years.
Yeah, making them, let me see, a pioneer in online retail in Andalusia. He was one of the first.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the smart moves he made.
It's like he had this sixth sense for trends.
Totally. And this is a big one. He understood that height, it's not just about, how tall you are.
Right.
It's about the cultural meaning. And he saw that in a lot of cultures, especially in Asia. Height carries a lot of weight. It can influence how people see you, your power, confidence, even your success.
Oh, yeah, it's like this unspoken thing, right? Like we all kind of pick up on it.
Exactly. It really is like a nonverbal cue that can speak volumes.
And Ferreras, he was like, okay, there's a market here.
Oh, absolutely. He saw that untapped potential, especially in places like China and Japan, and he went for it.
Smart move. I mean, talk about understanding your audience, or I guess potential audience.
Right. Knowing your market is key.
Yeah.
But then there's this whole other layer to this whole thing because their product is, well, kind of a secret, right?
It's true. You don't see many Masaltos commercials, do you?
Not really. And it's
Yeah.
not like people are, bragging about wearing height-increasing shoes.
Right. Like, check out my new kicks. They add 2 inches.
Exactly. It's this weird thing. People want the benefit, but they're not exactly shouting it from the rooftops.
So how do you build a brand around that? It's
Right.
like a paradox.
It's a real tightrope walk.
Yeah.
You want the buzz, but you got to respect the whole discreet thing. Like, the article even mentioned that there are fathers and sons who both wear Masaltos,
No way.
and they have no idea. Like a secret society of height enhancement.
That's hilarious. But it makes you wonder about the psychology of it all,
Totally. But hey, speaking of secrets, this article drops some pretty big names.
Oh, spill the tea.
Rumor has it, Andy Garcia, Karl Lagerfeld, even Manolo Escobar might have sported some Masalto shoes in their day.
Wow, that's quite the range. What is it
Yeah.
about height that's so universally appealing?
Well, think about it. Actors, designers. These are people whose image is everything.
True. But it goes even deeper than that, doesn't it? Like the article mentioned, even some former Spanish presidents were rumored to be clients.
Yeah, Jose Maria Aznar and Felipe Gonzalez. If world leaders are concerned about their height,
It makes you think, right? These are people at the top of their game calling the shots. They're not exactly lacking in the confidence department.
exactly. And it really highlights those ingrained societal perceptions we have about height and, by extension, power and authority.
Yeah, and you start to see how these things like height, they can shape our perceptions in all these subtle ways.
Oh, absolutely. It's like this hidden language we all speak,
Yeah.
We might not even realize it's influencing our judgments and choices.
And it makes you wonder, right? How much of what we perceive as leadership or charisma is tied to these visual cues?
It's a fascinating question. And it's not just in politics either. Think about all the leading men in Hollywood towering over their co-stars.
Right, like it's almost become part of the archetype.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how much of their on-screen presence is tied to that, that physical stature.
It's a lot to think about.
You
But anyway, going back to Masaltos.com, they weren't content with just conquering Spain.
Not even close. They had their sights set on bigger things. Global domination, I tell you?
Well, global height enhancement, at least. And they were already making some big moves back then, right?
Oh, yeah, they weren't afraid to shake things up. In the article, they were talking about launching on Amazon's German marketplace.
Smart move. Get those shoes all over Europe.
Exactly. Yeah. And that wasn't all. They were also planning to open a physical store, get this, in Hong Kong.
Whoa, really? Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, a gateway to the Asian market. They knew where the growth was.
That's some serious foresight. I mean, it's one thing to ride a trend, but they were anticipating it.
Exactly. They were thinking ahead, adapting to the changing landscape of global business. It's a good lesson for anyone, really.
It really is. So, as we wrap up here, it kind of makes you wonder, right? In a world that's, let's face it, obsessed with appearances, is the desire for a little height boost just about vanity?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think it's more complex than that.
Right, like maybe it's about wanting to feel more confident, more powerful, more,
Absolutely.
seen.
Absolutely. Maybe it's about aligning your outside with how you feel on the inside.
Or maybe it's just about being comfortable in your own shoes, even if those shoes happen to have a little secret.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This was definitely a fascinating deep dive. And hey, listeners, the next time you see someone walking a little taller with a little extra pep in their step.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Exactly. You never know, they might just be rocking a little secret of their own.